Hello, my name is Cole Spector. Welcome to episode 2.1. No, episode 2. Right, then it's going to be 2.1 because I've split this up. Anyway, right, so first things first. So let's just stop right there. I just want to add the video I'm going to show you is very sensitive in nature. There are some graphic images. The only reason I'm showing you this video from Lenny and Ben's members only video section is to specifically back up my claim that they are maintaining that the ghosts they have are real to paying members, while they maintain to the rest of YouTube and to the public that everything's for entertainment. This is highly deceptive. I am in no way making light of the sensitivity on display. However, it is the only way I can back up my claim and protect my reputation. Thank you to the Shape and all his community for coming over. Seriously, the amount of love that they've shown and support, I cannot thank him enough. He really stuck his neck out for me, and he never tried to distance himself either when Casper Sight responded with an emotionally charged video about people attacking his beliefs, which is against the law, by the way. People have got religious freedom in most Western countries, and if anyone's attacking your beliefs, that's an actual crime. Okay, you don't have to justify your beliefs. You can believe in a talking Christmas turd for all you want. It's not up to anyone else. All right, nobody's attacking your beliefs. I was simply showing him exactly how stupid his words were, and pointing out that Lee made a post saying that there's one person who were on that whitelist. His words, not mine. So, and at that time, there were only one person making videos without copyright claims against their channel, Casper Sight. Alright, so so he released an emotionally charged video, and you know, he could well have been getting a lot of anger from his fans. That's not my problem at all, right? You cannot get angry at somebody who's criticising another person and making people angry. Maybe it's time you had a look at why them people are getting angry with you, and if they've got a valid reason, and they might feel like you've let them down in some way because they love you so much, and working with these fake channels and trying to convince them the reason why you're reacting to them, right? It's understandably something that's going to annoy them when it's pointed out to them. All right, and you are 100% wrong, Laney. I knew exactly the impact my words would have. I wasn't looking to do it to Casper Sight. I could see he was leaning over to that side for a long time. He's a kind of a neutral channel that reacts to this stuff, and he was leaning over the way to be working more openly with these channels, which is fine. If he wants to make 100 reaction videos on your content or Really Haunted's content, there's nothing stopping him doing it. I won't say a goddamn word about it. But if he gets pulled down with Lee, or tries to manipulate people into justifying why he's reacting to that, despite so many of his fans being the Shapes fans and other debunkers fans, then he can go ahead. But I'm still going to point that out and say that is incredibly manipulative, what he's saying, especially how he confirmed he's a veteran of 10 years in the media industry. So he knows exactly that saying something like, oh, you don't know if it's real or not, you can't tell if it's fake unless you see string being pulled. He knows full well that that's bullshit what he's saying. So I'm going to point to it every time. If you don't want me anywhere near your channel, stop using manipulative language, stop manipulating people, and stop trying to maintain to people that you have got ghosts or demons and they're real, and just stop doing that. There's nothing wrong with faking ghost videos. There's nothing wrong with putting all that stuff online. A lot of people have made really successful careers out of doing that. You want to look at the haunting of Sunshine Girl. She never once maintained that everything that she was going through was real. Never once, right? It was just kind of like a story. She's now got a TV series. Oh, she's got a TV series in development about her YouTube channel. So you can't tell me that this is your only choice. It's just a lazy thing to do, to fake ghost footage because you know there's a ready-made audience for it and you know that they will eat it up. You just have to make it a little bit convincing, and you can waffle for 8 minutes followed by a couple of minutes clip of a badly animated speaking of which, where is it? A badly animated shadow demon thing that you've added in Adobe After Effects. By the way, if anyone from Lee's family's watching, get him this for Christmas if you're out of ideas. Physics for Animators, good book, because the physics of his shadow things are absolutely atrocious, and the box that raised off the ground was absolutely atrocious. And he actually added a little blur on the video because he could not get the acceleration right, and so he covered it up with a little sort of overlay. And get him that one, After Effects Classroom in a Book. Get him that one as well. This one's out of date, but even the out of date ones, they're worth getting because the difference is only a few little extra bits. So first, I'm going to show you a video about who is Cole Thompson. So just watch that first. It's only about 5 minutes long. It's like a little bit of a CV to qualify my opinion for a lot of these clowns who hide behind the fact, well, they're not actually qualified to say that and blah, blah, blah. Well, you can swivel now because it is my qualified opinion. So I learnt photography, but I went way beyond learning just how to take a photograph. I learnt some amazing things from people, all different ways of seeing the world, and absolute brilliant teachers. But I just wanted to know more. I wanted to learn more, and coming from a military background where my life was basically physical, in military and cage fighting and scuba diving and whatnot, it just seemed like a whole new world to me. So I wanted to go beyond taking photographs. So I started learning how to polish the photos in Lightroom. And this led to learning how to manipulate the photos in Photoshop. And to this day, I absolutely love photo manipulation. I love taking a photograph and then turning it into a whole new reality. It's absolutely amazing to me. And because of the pain, the constant pain, it wasn't as bad as it used to be, but I mean, it's still there to this day. I still get pain in my leg, and concentrating on this, on something that I love, helps. So this it had a bit of a snowball effect where I started learning something new, and then I'd have a play around with it and loved it, and then I just wanted to know even more. So it just kept going and going and going. So from photo manipulation, I then started learning graphic design because I wanted to mix photographs with artwork and make sort of mixed media images. And this led me to learning Adobe Illustrator and learning graphic design. But again, it just wasn't enough. I just wanted more. So I decided to go back to school, considering I had no civilian qualifications. So I did an access course to adult education, which is, I think it's like a GCSE equivalent. Something, I had no civilian qualifications at all. I had nothing, basically. So I thought I needed something official. So I went to uni, did my access to adult education. Or I went to college, sorry, and did my access. And then from there, I did a degree in fine art, and all through these different sort of the access course and the degree in fine art, I never once went out drinking. Every waking moment that I had that wasn't with my kids in my new home was spent learning something new, a new technique, and I've done this every day solid for practically 10 years. So after my degree in fine art, I then went on finally to do a master's degree in computer animation, and that's the sort of last main course that I've done. But I didn't just want to do photography. I wanted to learn more about what was out there, so I did. I learned 2D animation,
special effects, 3D design, 3D printing, 3D animation like you get on Pixar, motion graphic design, drone photography, photogrammetry, projection mapping, which if you don't know what it is, you know, you'll have a blast doing something like this. 3D sculptures, or designing sculptures in 3D and then bringing them to life and creating them. Laser cutting and laser engraving, deep fakes, prop design and prop creation, video production, magazine design, merchandise design, advertisements, and AI art, which is amazing. And when the next thing comes along, I'll research and learn all about that, because it's just what I do. And apart from staying ahead of the curve in the sort of like design industry, I just love learning new stuff. I'm currently developing my own adult animation horror comedy series called 13 Dark, which is it's based on my life and basically my struggle with PTSD and how I eventually beat it. But it's got loads of cool things in there, like all things I got up to in military, like being locked in noses of crashed submarines and shooting helicopters down and car chases and God knows what else. There's just loads of cool, and that's all the real stuff. That's before I start adding all the fake sort of story elements to it, like the little demon shadow creatures and things like that. So hopefully that'll be a little bit of success, but it's something I've been working on for a long time.
So, and to the people that's talking about, I just want to have fun, I just want to be entertained, I just want to be freaked out and watch these videos, fine, whatever, okay, go do it, nobody cares, right? I care about the people that's being manipulated, and you don't have a right to entertainment at the expense of vulnerable people. And even if one person was hurt by these fake channels manipulating people, just one person, that would give me enough justification to get on my soapbox and start looking down my nose at people doing this, alright? But there's thousands of people that are being tricked and being deceived, and they never ever talk about these victims. What really annoys me is they'll talk about the fake ghosts, they'll talk about working with fake channels, but they never ever talk about the victims and the scares and the fear. That's all the for entertainment stuff, yeah. But the hope that some of these people that have just lost loved ones, close loved ones, and they're desperate to feel like they've still got contact with that person, or that person's still close to them, right? So they'll watch these channels, because if this person's contacting dead people, then that confirms my beliefs that my loved one's still around me. Or if this person's contacting dead people, maybe I can learn how to contact my lost loved one, or they can contact them for me. This is how it goes, right? So maybe they can have a chance to speak to their loved one. That hope of some contact from the other side, that's where the real cruelty lies, which is why it's so intoxicating to believe these channels. And I've been misled right at the beginning. I was like, what the hell is going on at this person's house? I had no idea that people were doing this. I was just doing research for my master's degree. I had no idea that this were a thing on YouTube. I just saw all these videos. I mean, I believed in the paranormal. Then I saw all these videos and I thought, what the hell's going on in people's lives? Is like some sort of rift open between this side and next or whatever, and all these ghost videos? And even from my experience, it is so embarrassing to admit that I fell for a couple of these things. But it was actually the shape. Someone put a comment on a video saying, oh, the shape's debunked this, and I'm like, ooh, what's that then? So I put his name in YouTube, and there's the man himself, right? So, and then as soon as I saw it, I flicked straight back into analytical mode, and I'm like, oh my god, these are all fake. And then I was just like, I couldn't believe that I'd been stupid enough to believe it. But right, you'll understand, and it's all connected to the doxing, why it's so intoxicating for people to want to believe, because the hope, it's that what gets you, the hope of that contact from the other side. That's where the real cruelty lies, and it's why it's so intoxicating to suspend your disbeliefs. Because, and it's not because you're stupid, it's because love makes you do stupid things. Love is so powerful that it'll have you suspend your disbelief and believe what these clowns are saying. So it's not going up against the paranormal, it's going up against wolf in sheep's clothing. Alright? So now you know who I am. Right, now I want to tell you why it was such a long time in between videos. And that was because I wanted people, apart from being ill, that wasn't planned. I'm just falling to bits. I was injured in the military and left because I were in a coma with a collapsed lung, hole in my leg, and I was going to have my leg amputated, but I had the last laugh because I've still got it. It's here, even though it's massively irritating, always falling apart, and the arteries are tearing, and it's getting quite dangerous now. But don't ask me why they haven't cut it off or anything. I don't want them cutting it off anyway. I'm not a bug that they can just pull the legs off as I feel. For a start, I'll lose my leg when I'm damn well ready to lose it, and I've been through all psych evaluations and stuff like that. Because at one point I wanted them to take my leg off, and this sounds weird, but even though it's excruciating agony, it is drive to get me off my arse and know that I can't just sit and fester, that I've got to get up and get things done. So it's kind of motivates me in my life, and it's incredibly painful, but it just is what it is. End of the day, I don't want my kids to see me as a burnt out pile of trash. I want to be a good role model for them and have a good, strong, ethical code. And that's another thing, Lee. Why does it look like you have Bushido tattooed down your front? Now, I'm not being funny, but Bushido is ancient Japanese moral code, the way of the warrior, right? And that is the most ironic thing I have ever seen in my life. I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, and it doesn't say Bushido, but why would you have the way of the warrior, the ethical code of the samurai, tattooed on your front when you're pulling these stupid tricks? Oh, by the way, you're not off the hook either, because I think you ought to mention to your subs why you totally forgot that you have previously found the holy grail of paranormal evidence. It's a bit weird that you forget something like that, because according to you, you've never had any paranormal experiences up until having badly animated fake shadow demons. And by the way, I've tested a couple of ways out that he's doing this, along with the dogs chasing the orbs and things like that. I can recreate that like that, but it's all crap. And I am eventually going to do videos, especially with the dogs, because I've been doing a couple of videos with my dog. Getting my dog to chase a black orb around, and it's easy, really easy. You just get the footage of the dog chasing something around, whether it's a toy, laser pen, or whatever, and you just, in post-production, add a black orb over the top, so it looks like the dog's chasing the orb, when in reality it's the orb that's in front of the dog following the dog's movements. That's all it is, right? Why did I leave such a long gap in between videos? Well, I wanted people to think that they were arrogantly the ones that were in control. I wanted people to swim up to me and take little bites out of me and accuse me of being a fake solicitor, accuse me of talking crap. I didn't guess in a million years that Lenny and Ben, of all people, would attack me with something that my ex-wife one of the biggest manipulators in the world attacked me with. And I just want, I'm going to tell you why it's so painful for me. Not because I want anyone to feel sorry for me, or because I want to shame Lenny and Ben, because this is more funny than anything, because it really shows you the position they've put themselves in with me. And not only that, it just shows you how disgusting they are. And it tells you, again, everything you need to know about these people. So my next video is going to talk about all that kind of stuff. My next video is going to talk about the doxing and the legal stuff. I just wanted to put this video out first so people had a good idea who I was and was on the same page. And it's going to get bad. These next few videos, I'm going to show you exactly why Lenny and Ben attacked me, because they knew that I had been a paid subscriber of theirs and I wasn't hiding my identity. I was literally paying for a subscription with them by Cole Thompson Design and Photography, and so I had access to their members only videos, and I very much heard them saying, literally after that video came out of when Ben was throwing the cushions and things and his reflection was in the TV, and he was kind of outed by his own community in their live stream, their live premiere of that video. So they took the video down, went on holiday, and they made a really sort of emotional, upset video to their paid subs saying, I don't know what people are talking about, and these ghosts are real.
But I do feel that we need to talk to you guys about it, because you're our members, and so like, you're important to us.
And also you've invested in us and into this whole channel, and we feel like like I said earlier, we just feel like we owe it to you.
I assure you all that Dave and well, we all know Andy's real. We've got proof of them. But Dave and Andy, are real. This is our experience.
And then in next breath, they release a video to the world saying, claiming that somebody approached them in the street, and that because of that, they are claiming for entertainment. It makes no logical sense why you do that in the first place, right? If somebody has the balls to do that to me in the street, you can bet I'm going to make a very loud, very painful example out of them. Not because I enjoy that kind of thing, because it deters the next 10 people from doing that. They know that by doing something like that, it's going to have consequences with it. And I am going to plaster them people all over YouTube and expose their little stupid petty games and attacks and things like that. And I am going to really, really make them wish that they wouldn't have done something like that. But I know nobody's going to do that to me. Do you know why? Because a lot of people, yeah, you're manipulating an audience, but I don't care enough to come attacking you in the street or kicking your front door in. Nobody does. That actually sounds like somebody who's had their beliefs betrayed, who thought that you were real and held on to the fact that you was emboldening their beliefs, and religious or otherwise. Then they discovered that you were faking it all. They feel foolish. They're the kinds of people who are going to... Your own subs are the ones that's going to attack you in the street and kick your daughter in. They're the ones... Because belief is such a powerful thing, like especially religion. Not only is there so many wars that'll tell you, do not screw with religion. Do not ever try and manipulate people with religion, because there's so many people in the ground arguing over whose God's real and who's right and who's wrong. People have always manipulated religion for their ends. It's not the religion's fault. It's bloody men and women that have manipulated religion for power and for gain. And then you clowns think, I know, let's manipulate a few people on YouTube for it and make a few quid. I'm sure that's going to end really well. So some of this stuff is what I cut out of the first episode, because I wanted to cut all the sort of qualifications I had, all the degrees that I've got out, just so people would be arrogant about me. And I know it's a bit naughty of me to do that. But if there's the whole reason for this is because it shows a very different side to people, because they'll do anything to get to you, because they can't criticize what you're saying, and if they think you're coming for them next, they will do absolutely anything to throw you off, to scare you away, and they think they're the ones that's in control. So I wanted them to do that. I wanted them to take little bites out of me, and I use very specific wording in my videos. The reason for this is because I know people will latch onto that, take it away, and when they kind of slyly address something without directly addressing you, and they use that specific terminology, they might as well be addressing me, because that's the words that I used. So that's the whole reason. I don't do it to act smart. I'm not a smart guy. I'm 40 years old, and I've been through a lot, a hell of a lot. I've been through many lifetimes, and I know that especially the people manipulating audiences will latch onto this. I was married to a master manipulator, and I'll tell you about that in a bit, because it's the whole reason that I don't like what they dox me with. And doxing is actually against YouTube's terms and conditions, regardless if that information is out of date. It's in the intent, and again, it shows you exactly what you need to know about these people, right? So I could have let this go on forever, because really it was just an absolute clown show unfolding in front of me. But they started doing really stupid things. One, as soon as they broke the law, I knew it had to stop there and then. I just couldn't let it continue anymore. So I'm going to put this video out explaining who I am and how I've got to this point, because I was a huge fan of the Shapes, and I was doing research for my paranormal horror comedy series called 13 Dark. The main character in that is called Cole Spectre, and because it's paranormal, it's directed towards paranormal content on YouTube, that's why I called my channel Cole Spectre. And in that horror comedy, he's doing exactly what I'm doing right now. He's like kind of debunking people, looking for the real paranormal stuff, because he's got to... I don't want to give too much away because it's quite funny, but so I've kind of been using these fake channels as the fake channels within the series, because I want more people to know that this is actually going on, that people are manipulating others, and it's kind of the phase before people start pretending to be fake psychics and all that kind of stuff, or pretending to be psychics, sorry. I see all these paranormal videos as kind of a portfolio, that they're just releasing all these videos, you know, they're getting ad revenue and all this, but and then as soon as people start closing, you'll notice that a lot of these channels have started talking about being switched on to that part of the world, to the paranormal side of life, and they are in communication. So it acts like a bit of a CV for them, that, oh, you can see all these hauntings have started, so they're really in touch with that kind of side of themselves. So when these people are saying, I can do you a reading for 40 quid or whatever, they're providing that as their like kind of testimonials and things like that. So people will fall for it. And I don't know if this is a planned thing or not. I just know it's kind of the next phase of what this is going to evolve into, what these paranormal channels are going to evolve into, because to make people believe that they've got ghosts and that they're haunted, they are putting out stuff that can be proven to be fake because they're using special effects and cheap camera tricks. So when they get to the phase of pretending that they're psychically linked and they've got spirit guides, and I'm not saying that's not a real thing, I'm just saying that these people are fake it, because I've got paranormal beliefs myself, my family has, and I'm not saying that all this stuff is fake. I'm saying that these people are like wolf in sheep's clothing. They are pretending to be a part of those things. So I'm not attacking those things, I'm attacking those particular nasty people in that thing. And if anyone's watching any of these videos, please do not go over to their channel and say a word to them, because it's not that they don't deserve it, or a bit of criticism and shame never hurt anyone, right? It's because you might as well be criticising a brick. And that's not me attacking their intelligence, that's just me stating a fact. If you criticised a brick with the same things, constructive criticism, or got angry at it, you would get the exact same response. And you're going to come off worse if you get angry at a brick, which you will come off worse if you get angry at them. And although you should not be saying things that are out of line, I will never ever, regardless of what they've done, you do not cross that line, because I want you to prove that you're better people than the ones perpetrating fraud. And, well, what, in my opinion, what's fraud? It's not legally proven to be fraud. One of my favourite pastimes in the whole world is messing with con artists, with tearing them apart, and I love doing it. My mother, she gets Royal Mail scams sent to her, postage scams, people telling her that she needs to pay postage to get a parcel. So I tell them to say, oh, my husband deals with all this, and give them my number and I'll pretend to be your husband. And they'll send me their scams. They'll say, oh, your wife told us to speak to you about it and all this. And I pretend to be confused old man and wind them up something rotten and dangle things in front of them like that I've got loads of money in my bank and all this, and I just want to pay for my parcel. And they just, the mouths are watering over possibility of an easy win. So they get arrogant, they get sloppy, and they think they're really smart. They're not. And I'm not a smart guy. I've just dealt with a lot of these kind of people for a very long time. Bigger people, I've dealt with companies pulling nasty tricks on me, and it's something I've had to deal with since I had nothing. I only had my word and my name to defend, and it's something I've done for the past 10 years. So anyway, I wound them up to the point where they were desperate for me to put this money in and get this payment confirmation, and they wanted a screenshot of my payment from a bank so that I paid this account. So I got the bank details and I tracked that back and gathered all that information up. And then, because they were so annoyed that I was winding them up for so long about this stuff, pretending to be like a confused old man, they actually started giving away things about themselves, and I even got them to expose our location. And I'm not going to quite say how I've done it yet. I'm not a hacker, I'm not doing anything illegal. This is all 100% legal and above board. But if you lay out a trail of breadcrumbs for people to follow, and they will follow it, you only have to say a couple of things, and because they think they're smarter than you, because they think that they're holding all the cards, they will quite easily walk into that. And I got their location doing that, and I tested it a couple of times to make sure that they weren't using a VPN, a virtual private network, to conceal their location. And then I bundled all that information up, and sent it to the Met Police, because they was working out of London, but a sort of side area. And I exposed our location to Met Police because that's the nearest police station. Another time is a friend of mine who likes to dress up in women's clothes. I didn't know this. A friend of mine told me we were being blackmailed, and he's a professional at a university, and he told me that his job was in jeopardy because he was being blackmailed, threatened to be exposed, and he's not done anything wrong. Each to their own and all that, but he asked me if I could help him because he kind of knows things that I'm not going to talk about on here about me. So I agreed to help him, and I took the emails from the people that were blackmailing him, and had a read through them all, and it turned out to be that he was a very lonely guy, and he was contacting a Russian girlfriends, like Eastern European women website, and he was talking to this Russian woman who wanted him to dress up in women's clothes and take photographs of himself and then send them clothes to her, and she would wear the clothes. And I wasn't sure if he was just sort of reeled into doing that and it were a sort of scam, or if it wasn't just naturally evolving into a scam, into blackmail. So I took all these emails, took all the threats of blackmail, and I laid out some breadcrumbs for her to follow by saying, I've got evidence of who you are and all this. And I sent her something, and she clicked on it, and arrogantly enough, it wasn't her, it was just something, a picture that I took from the internet that was close to her, but I knew exactly what she looked like at this point. She then sort of got cocky and arrogant with me and saying, that's not me, you don't know what you're talking about and all this. Tell him to give me the money. But what she didn't know is that she just revealed her location to me, and I used that information to pinpoint exactly where she were, and I confirmed that with a PO box location that it was within a very short driving distance, and made sure she wasn't using a VPN again. Then, with my newly found graphic design skills, I made a brochure on her local women's prison. And I did all the photos. So I took a template of a holiday brochure, took out all the photos of the resort and stuff like that, and I filled it with pictures of this horrible women's prison that's local to her. And I made this nice brochure, and then I made another PDF with all the blackmail threats, the Russian law on blackmail, and the location of the very closest police station, along with the person in charge at that police station. And I gave her a choice. She either stops doing this now and gives me a word that she won't ever try it again on him, or this is going to the police. And it absolutely scared the crap out of her. Not just, that I'd got all this information. With a whole brochure thing, I think absolutely scared the crap out of her. I've got no remorse for that. She earned every single second of fear she experienced because of that. And I know she'll not do it. She'll not do it because when you're arrogant and you think that you're in the right, and well, not even that, when you're being arrogant thinking that you're in charge, that's when you make cocky mistakes. And that's exactly what she did, and exactly what Lenny and Ben's done. So I'm kind of used to dealing with people acting in these poisonous ways. It just, like I said before, it tells you everything you need to know about these people. So I didn't put all this in my first video because I did not want people to be wise to what I actually do. And it's not just about messing with people. I just do that as a hobby. I want to be, my channel, I want this to be my very public kind of journal and interaction with you guys on becoming an expert witness in court, an expert witness on media manipulation. So I want to be able to be hired by a legal team and have a proven track record, and I want to, my end goal of my career is to be an expert witness, or one of my end goals. Right, so just a little disclaimer for the dunces. I am not a solicitor. I'm not pretending to be a solicitor. It very clearly states on my website, attached to the bio in this channel, that I am a digital artist. I am a professional photographer, VFX artist, animator. I deal with all sorts of graphic design, right? I have never once pretended to be a solicitor, right? But the law is not magic words that only a solicitor or a lawyer can cast on you, okay? They're just big legal words that you're not used to hearing unless you're in trouble. Because I've literally gone from rock bottom, and I'll tell you all about this later because it's directly attached to why I was doxxed. Because I've gone from this kind of level to where I am now, I have spent a long time with no money for solicitors representing myself in court, because being a digital artist, people steal your work. And all the time that you put into that work, someone will try and steal it. So instead of having the money to speak to a solicitor, I started studying the law myself, because the law is very clear. It's not like a bloody trap for you to walk into. The law is very clear on copyright and the exceptions for copyright. And especially here on YouTube, people abuse it, and they think they've got a right to just take your work, right? Debunkers take their videos because that's criticism. That is and you're not gonna allow the use of your work for someone to criticize what you're saying or accuse you of manipulating an audience, are you? So there's an exception in copyright rule that allows you to do that. And I've dealt a lot with copyright. I've dealt with Malicious Communications Act, which is very important and directly involves you, Lenny and Ben, in a little while. I have dealt with Consumer Protection Act and loads of other stupid stuff that that's not worth mentioning. Those are only relevant ones. So it's getting dark now, and I'm going to put this video out in a minute. This is just kind of the break between two videos. The next video will have all the legal stuff in, the 100% proof Lenny and Ben are faking their ghosts. And that is 100% evidence. That is legal proof that I would provide if someone hired me as an expert witness. Not as a solicitor, not as a legal expert, an expert witness. So like a solicitor would hire a coroner as an expert witness on cause of death. This is my professional journey to becoming an expert witness. And I've actually got a court case on the 15th of December, my first ever one, applying as an expert witness. And all these videos now are eating into my prep time for it. And I'm really annoyed about that. So just watch the next video. It's got all the evidence in it. It's got all the criminal offence and all the doxing and why that's particularly painful to me, and why it breaks YouTube's terms and conditions, even if it is out of date personal information that they've shared. And it doesn't matter if it's on my personal Facebook page or any other place. It's not information I have shared, and you've took that and shared that to your 100,000 followers. So well done, geniuses. So please watch the next video. It's got a lot of funny stuff in it as well. Well, for some people. And again, if you don't want me hanging around your channel, do not manipulate people. Do not say, oh, it's for entertainment, and then have a private members only group that you are grooming into believing something's real. Because I will come for you every time. And I'm going to gather all this information up. I've actually applied for a meeting with YouTube about all this. And Lenny and Ben, honestly, don't run from it. Don't just delete your channel and run off. Because there is a chance that you could actually salvage your channel out of all this. And I'll tell you why next episode. Because the whole point of me is not to be vindictive and attack. I don't like being doxxed, so yes, I am going to get angry with that. I don't pretend to be a nice person. But I am going to come after you if you're doing this kind of thing. What else were there? Oh yeah, knock it off with the grammar attacks. English is not everyone's first language. Some people have undiagnosed learning difficulties, and your constant need to correct people's grammar and spelling and word usage, fair enough, some people need to work on their grammar and spelling. However, it's not the best idea if someone's angry with you because you're manipulating their beliefs or someone else's beliefs and they're furious at you for that. It is really not a good idea to then give them a free lesson in grammar as a response. And not only that, it's scientifically proven that people who obsess over grammar are arseholes. So there's that as well.